My name is Navita P, and I talk about personal finance and a bunch of other topics. Live video that I recently did last week was very dark. I didn't have good lighting, and I had the lighting somewhere else in the house. But anyway, I found it and I have it, and I'm going to use it right now. And I just want to show you. Right now the lighting it doesn't look that bad, but if I press this button, now you can see me. Okay, so I am talking about a very hot topic right now. It's about the SBA, and I'm opening the article here on Forbes. You can see on my screen right now. And it's about the SBA opens up new grants and loans for small businesses and independent contractors. On June 15, 2020, the SBA announced it will again opening up its Economic Injury Disaster Loan Grant and Loan Program. Yay! Hooray! For all the small businesses out there and for anyone who's a sole proprietor, we have good news for you. This means that independent contractors, freelancers, and gig workers are eligible to receive $1,000 grant that does not have to be repaid. Let's think about that for a moment. The government, the SBA, the Small Business Administration, is giving you a $1,000 grant that does not have to be repaid. And that $1,000 is for independent contractors, freelancers, so gigs, folks that are working on Upwork or Fiverr or doing freelance, people that are working independently for themselves, who are sole proprietors. They are all eligible to receive this grant. Let's scroll down the article. This article you can find on Forbes, Forbes.com. Small businesses and agricultural businesses may also apply for the grant equal to $1,000 per employee of the business up to a maximum of $10,000. A loan for favorable terms from the SBA may also be available. There is some uncertainty as to the amount available, but up to $150,000 or $2 million has been reported. Under the CARES Act that was passed on March 27, 2020, independent contractors, gig workers, and freelancers affected by the coronavirus crisis are eligible to receive the grant. The SBA sometimes refers to these grants as advances, but keep in mind you are not required to repay this money. The application process involves filling out a simple SBA form requesting an economic injury disaster recovery loan, which provides for the advance even if the loan is not granted. Initially, $10 billion was allocated by the government for these grants, but due to the overwhelming amount of applications, the SBA suspended accepting new applications in mid-April 2020 due to the lapse in appropriations for the grants. But now the SBA has lifted its suspension because of the legislation passed on April 24, 2020, that allocated another $60 billion for the EIDL and grants thereunder. Who is eligible for the grants? The SBA disaster loan and grants include the following: independent contractors for whom there is expanded eligibility criteria, freelancers, sole proprietorships with or without employees, gig workers, small businesses with less than 500 employees, and agricultural businesses. You must have been in business as of January 31st, 2020. The grants are available until December 16, 2020, but the SBA will quickly run out of money. We've all seen that happen earlier this year. So where do you apply for this SBA grant? So if we click on this link, it says covid19relief.sba.gov. So we click on that, and this is the form. It says here, COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan Application. Disclosures, then business information you would have to input, business owner's information, additional information, and summary. I will include a link to this in the description box below. As you look here, it says eligible entity verification. You're going to choose one of these. You're supposed to choose applicant as an individual who operates as a sole proprietorship or without employees, or as an independent contractor. That is most likely the one you're going to choose for anyone that does any gigs or freelancing work or anything related to that. Is usually going to be sole proprietorship, which is the third option there. Once you've selected that, there's also other ones here. You can read about it as we go. Let's take a look here. Review and check all of the following. Applicant must review and check all the following. If applicant is unable to check all the following, applicant is not eligible. Is not an eligible entity. Okay, so applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity. Okay, that should be 100%, right? Okay, applicant is not engaged in any illegal activity. No principal of the applicant with a 50% or greater ownership interest is more than 60 days delinquent on child support obligations. Next one, applicant does not present live performances. You can read the rest of what that says there. And the fourth one, applicant does not derive more than 1/3 of gross annual revenue from legal gambling activities. Applicant is not in the business of lobbying. Applicant cannot be a state, local, municipal government entity and cannot be a member of Congress. Okay, so all of these have to check. You have to check all of these and then click continue. It says here, if you have any questions about the application or have problems, you can contact customer service at this number. And then we're going to click continue. So now you're on the business information tab, the second part of the application process. And so you have to fill in all this information regarding your business. The legal name of the business, a trade name, EIN, social security number for sole proprietorship, organization type, which would be any of these, but normally for people who are doing gigs or freelancing, it should be sole proprietorship. Other people might be independent contractors, depending on what you do. It also says here gross revenues for the last 12 months. So I think the ones that are in red are required. So you just keep going along and click next. So I am not going to fill this out, but I'm just letting you know that this is the business portion of the information. Then you have business owner's information. So that will be your personal information, your date, date of birth, your name, I think personal information, and then additional information that at the end, and then summary. So it's a really simple application. I think it will probably take you maybe 15-20 minutes tops, and then just process the application as you would. Okay, so let's get back to the article here. Yeah, so where do I apply online for the SBA grant? I will include the link below. And what advice is there for completing the SBA application if you are an independent contractor? If you are an independent contractor, freelancer, or gig worker, here are some tips on filling out the application. On the first question, check the third box as you're applying as an independent contractor or sole proprietorship. You must add your social security number if you're applying as an independent contractor, freelancer, or gig worker. The form will ask you for the gross revenues for the last 12 months for your independent contractor business and the cost of goods sold. You can estimate this based on what happened in 2019. Cost of goods sold means that the expenses incurred in the process of providing your product or service as a freelancer, gig worker, or independent contractor. Where it asks for owner, put your name and 100% owner. It will ask for the date the business was established. This is the date you started doing your freelance, gig work, or independent contractor work. So just estimate if you're not sure. And then it gives you a few more tips here on what you should be putting down. And it says here, is your business owned by a business entity? The answer is no, since you are an individual owner. Okay, so the next question is, when the form asks for your business name, just enter your individual name if you don't have an actual business name. So it's not a requirement to have a registered business. So if you are doing business in your own name, then that's perfectly fine. How can I make sure I provide my correct direct deposit information? So we'll ask you your banking information. So please have that handy. How long will it take to actually get the grant money from the SBA? Their first grants took over a month to be issued. Hopefully newer grants will be quicker. So we can expect it to receive that grant money a month from now or less. Do I need to accept an economic injury loan in order to get the grant? No, you can decide just to accept the grant you receive, and you don't even have to accept the economic injury disaster loan. But the loans have favorable terms, repayable up to 30 years. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder what exactly the terms are, and I'll try to look into this and maybe add a comment on this video when I find out more about the loan that they're offering. So do I have to pay back the grant? The answer is no. It is clear. You do not have to pay back this grant at all. And so there's a phone number and an email address if you have more questions, and there's more information and more related articles on this grant. Very important information. If you are a gigs worker, or you drive, let's say you drive for Uber or Lyft, or you do certain work on the side, you fix cars on the side, you are considered a gig worker. If you do things on the side, or you buy products and you resell them, you're still considered a gig worker. So do things on Upwork or Fiverr or any of these kind of websites, that do freelance work, you are entitled to this grant. I strongly suggest you apply for it, and I hope you get through with it. Let me know in the comments if you already received one in the past, and let me know how long it took you to receive that money. I thank you so much for watching, and please join me again on my channel and subscribe. Please subscribe to this channel. So please help me out. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.